Right. Good morning. Good morning. There we go. All right. Let's get started. Friday morning. Euro data came in little red. And we're seeing this euro pound continue to drop a little bit, but it's starting to retrace now. Um, CAD GDP came in flatter than expected, but there was a slight adjustment last time. That red green that always kind of adds to it. And then again, core PCE. Funny. All the news articles I saw were like, yeah, look at that. It's the lowest rating we've gotten, years. This is awesome. They're like, but the core number. Yeah, the core number came in as exactly as expected. So it's funny. You can't see all of them on here. Here, I'll click this. There you go. There you go. You see spending, right? You're seeing some of these estimates coming in. Income, people are making more, but there was an adjustment. Personal spending, people are starting to spend less, right? But you see this core PCE, and you're like, hey, listen, on a yearly basis, hey, this is low. This is low. As low as we've been. Great, pat ourselves on the back. But again, still continuing to rise. We're still well above where we need to be. Right here. There you go. Easy made, but core gain, gains stayed high, right? So it's interesting. We don't hear as much, and people are definitely celebrating the fact that, hey, listen, inflation is coming down. And I think that's great. But the reality is the core number. Bernard, if you remember who she was, remember blonde haired lady? She was like the crypto person. It was really big. They were like, hey, let's put her up here because we need to find a replacement for Pow, and you know, very similar. Well, she's like non-existent. You never hear her at all, barely, nothing. They've like taken her completely out of spotlight. It's unbelievable. She was talking about how core is really what matters the most. Because remember, when regular CPI was surging, the core wasn't going as bad because again, it was drugged down by other things besides energy, where energy is what started this all. And it was like core is the most important. Core is the most important. Core is the most important. Now core is continuing to rise. We see the regular CPI because again, we know that oil is coming down compared to where it was. Food and again, obviously the food thing, right? Eggs are back down to normal prices. Meat's pretty much back down to where it was. So those big, early inflators are not taken out, but the core, the regular goods, services, and things like that are still quite high. And everybody's using supply chain, all those. So, hasn't eased as much as what they had expected. But the CAD data is a little surprising, but it was again red, one green, so a little hard. We'll see what consumer sentiment is showing, but again, we hear across the board, um, people are not spending as much as what they were before, right? The spend is not there, so yeah, yeah. So we'll see. Overall, again, pound dollar and pound yen, you're seeing that retrace from yesterday. You're seeing that pound movement continue. As far as the dollar goes, I think people are really confused with this one. It's like, 30, little weakness, little weakness, little weakness, little weakness. And again, people look at this and say, hey, listen, that's it. The Fed's going to be done. But they don't really fully understand what the numbers and what they're looking at. Again, the core number on a yearly basis still way too high, and it's not coming down. I mean, it's been consistent. I think they said on a yearly basis 4.6, 4.7 for the last like 5 months or something. Um, where's the big drop, right? We had this point 0.3, point 0.6, point 0.3, point 0.3, point 0.4, point 0.3. I mean, we're staying pretty consistent here, right? And we're not seeing major drops. So, you would assume that this would be really just catapulting to the downside, but the reality is it's not. So, um, yeah, a little bit harder to kind of to grasp there. All right. Obviously Friday, Saturday, nothing. Sunday, a little bit of manufacturing data. And again, it is Chinese data, so it's always hard to kind of take it with a grain of salt. But it's supposed to be 50. Remember, when it looks at 49, that shows a contraction, not an expansion. 50 is kind of like right at that, like we just held. So we'll get that late Sunday night, and then obviously Monday we have ISM manufacturing, but it is an abbreviated day on Monday, so um, it will give us something, probably some overnight based trades, and a little bit Monday morning, and then it will probably flatline on us for the holiday because obviously Tuesday, obviously, there's a cash rate going on. But again, U.S. markets are closed on July 4th. Not everybody celebrates Independence Day, especially those guys in the UK. They're not as big into that one. Um, you know, not their favorite holiday, right? It's the in your face holiday. So, we'll see. All right, let's dive across. So VIX, obviously the data is all out now. You're seeing the VIX continue to deteriorate down. Indices all pretty solidly in the green, as you would expect. Again, talking about how this is the lowest inflation we've seen in 2 years. This is awesome. It's working. yes, they're not going to raise it anymore. But again, it's the market not really truly understanding that, you know, again, core is really kind of what they're looking at. Yeah, it came in as expected, but it's still showing positive. It's not showing the decline that we're seeing in CPI. So, again, something to kind of think about there, right? Um, Not always the best, right? Not always what you're looking for. So we'll see that to continue. The dollar obviously down because again, the market is taking that as you know, hey, this is really weak. It's low. They don't need to keep raising interest rates. Coming on the heels of, yeah, we could definitely do two. We could do two in a row. We don't have to do one in a pause. We could do two in a row. Um, so there's that. Now again, interestingly enough, if I extend this across, you can see there was the one, there was the two, there was the three, fours would broke. There's your red, green, red back to the downside. Again, we knew it was extremely high, being up at that 103.50, big psychological level. And then it's now pushing it back down to the news we had over yesterday morning. Okay. So again, is this justified? A little bit, but like, I don't know. It's one of those things. It's like, am I super worried about this one? Eh, not really. We're still sitting above 103 right now. The data today, technically, sure, you could take it. It is more to low from than what we've seen. Um, is it the end of the world? Is the Fed done? No, but the perception is going to be that, hey, listen, maybe they're going to slow up a little bit. Maybe this is not really as bad as what we thought it was going to be. And that's kind of where we're at right now with this. All right. Um, so, not surprised. Again, going into a Friday with a weaker dollar, not necessarily the worst thing in the world. Um, I did see another article yesterday. I guess somehow it's Google reads enough of your email or listens to you talk enough that it gives you the news. I saw that um, what is it? Saudi Arabia, Iran, and somebody else have just recently made more purchases with Chinese currency and dump dollar. Um, it's like three or four nations now that are accepting Chinese currency instead. So, the press is definitely on. I love the articles that said it's not going to happen, but even Yellen's saying that it's going to start happening right now. And I really truly believe that the market does not understand what that will mean for the dollar if it is removed as the world currency. Um, Again, if you look like debt ratios to GDP and things like that, and again, if the U.S. gets downgraded with bonds, I mean, it was pretty much backstop and guaranteed. It's actually going to be a very, very big deal if it is removed. Inflation in the United States will go higher. We'll see what it does in other countries. Again, a lot of the special protections that we have of being the world currency with it will dissipate very, very fast. And again, you'll see ratings and things like that start to affect the markets and be like, oh my God, we're being downgraded. Wait, what? Based off the amount of debt we have, and it's going to require us to be a little more fiscally responsible, which is not necessarily the bad thing. So, anyway, I think around this 102.80 mark, again, there's been buyers in the past twice. It's at 61.8. We should probably see it slowing a little bit. I think at this point, everybody's like, oh yeah, weak dollar. That's it. Short dollar, short dollar, short dollar. That tends to be where we see this kind of retrace a little bit. And the reality is all we need is one comment of somebody saying, Powell saying, don't forget core is the most important thing and core is not where we want it. Um, it's all you need is one guy to make that comment about how, hey, listen, maybe it's not a guy, maybe it's a girl. Maybe Bernard finally says something. All right. But I feel like at this point, she hasn't said a word in months. Right. She's completely disappeared. I don't know. When you have zero visibility, can you really be the one that takes over? Right. Um, I don't know. I just feel like you don't hear her as much. I don't know. I feel like she started off and she was like, yeah, but now you hear nothing. Nothing. She's just kind of disappeared. So we'll see. Commodities. Commodities are split a little bit. For the most part, they're up. Dollars down. You'd expect to see it. Silver's still down 0.4. Gold up 0.2. So, but it's not really far, right? I mean, gold's at 1911. So it's not creeping near that 2000 mark. And silver down at 2246. So definitely dropping. Natural gas down just a smidge. Still up at 270. It's like, geez. And then again, oil holding just above 70. I'm curious to see. Again, people not spending. It's funny. All the articles you see out there now, it's like, oh, the spender's been so great, we're going to avoid a recession, right? There's definitely not going to be a recession now, but we're seeing spending start to dissipate rather quickly, and we know that the inflation is not under control yet, so there's probably still going to be more raises. Interesting to see. It's like, yeah, they have been spending, right? Earnings have been great, but we're seeing on a monthly basis the spending, and when all you talk about is spending slowing, spending slowing, spending slowing, it's kind of like a wildfire, right? For lack of a better word. We're still under the haze today, by the way, just for anybody wondering. Still got some of that haze. But I think if they lift all the, I think it all gets lifted today, right? I think it gets lifted today. Um, I think, I think. One sec, hold on, let me see. Let me hit the button. Now I'm really curious. Air quality alert. Let's see. Yeah, air quality's down. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's a code orange today, so it's not as crappy. So we're only at 129 instead of 150, right? Yeah, so it says members of sensitive groups may experience health effects. The general public is not likely to be affected. So I can feel it still. Yeah, my sinuses still feel like somebody drug a wire brush through them. But yeah, overall, we good. Um, all right, so let's dive over into the Aussie. So Aussie had the nice run yesterday. You can see a couple other attempts made at it. Boom, boom, boom. We're sitting up there right now. And again, is it a viable take again? I would say this is. It's already been used. We typically don't use these multiple times. Um, but what you could look to do is on a lower time frame, take this down. It's only 11 pips for what 32 in the other direction. You can see it's starting to slow, and again, that's what that session rollover. It's been since the news came out. Obviously, emotional response higher isn't really changing much. This is where we tend to see it kind of flip and roll in the other direction. It's kind of stabilized itself now, and if it starts to roll back down again, moving back to the origin of the move, wouldn't necessarily be surprised whatsoever. Now, it is Friday. Some people are actually taking off already. Obviously, if you're gonna try to take advantage of when the holiday is, having the 4th of July be on a Tuesday, um, typically a good one to sneak out and go on vacation a little bit early, right? Take the week off. A lot of people are traveling this week, right? Um, just figure, I mean, if you're already had the days off and it's in the middle of the week, why not just take one or two more and get the whole week off, right? So it is a big week to travel. So I think we will run out of some of the volume that we would normally see on a Friday, just because of the Friday that it is. But are we in a place for a reversal? I would say yeah. Yeah, probably. It doesn't line up if you look from high to low here. There's no fibs really that it's that are major. The 50% not a big deal. 61.8, 78 again. Yeah, there is a level to 78, but this is not really one of those levels that like I really you know I don't put a lot of credence into it, but I know some people do. So I would say again, look for a potential reversal if you still need to trade today, and again, look for this to turn and roll back down towards that manufacturing number right on Monday. All right, and again, it's chopping, it's fighting. Wait for the confirmation before you pull the trigger. Take it on the way out, right? Don't just short it now because it's deep in there. Wait for confirmation on the way out. Okay. Aussie Yen. All right, so look at the chop on this one. Boom, got front run, came back up, hit it again, dropped down, hit it again, pulled down, and then finally broke. And now we're just in a sea of spaghetti, right? Um, I think easy enough to draw this one. Again, 96.33 on the top side. It's been hit. It's hit it twice. That was the bottom. Um, yesterday we talked about, if that was truly the bottom, look for this to continue higher. There's a little bit of drama here, a little bit of drama here, but for the most part, kind of this is where we're bracketed. We got how much more we go? 34 pips before we hit buyers or sellers. I think that's what we're waiting for right now. There's not much else. The big problem with this one is, yeah, we're getting the yen play right now. We're getting no benefits right now from the Aussie, right? Because that is in after hours. It's already the holiday there. So they are not contributing to this one at all. Um, and with the European session going out, we basically just have the dollar and a proxy. So, hmm. This one actually would not be horrible for a Sunday night based trade. The reason I say that is because we have the Chinese data on Sunday night. And you may say, well, what does that have to do with the Australian stuff? Um, Chinese data definitely affects the Australian currency because they get a lot from Australia. A lot of the resources that they need, they get from Australia. That's kind of it's like the hidden kind of context. Um, so there'll be more action from that one. Hmm. You know, it is kind of lining up because it's supposed to be 50, right? If it misses it, say it's 49.9, that shows a manufacturing contraction, which means they need less resources, which would hurt the Aussie, which would help turn this and roll this back to the downside. So it is kind of lining up the fundamentals with the technicals on this one. Um, the big question is, do we go up and we start smashing into it today, or do we wait? Like do we falter and we stop in here and then open there on Sunday night? But I think I want an arrow. Sunday? Yeah, like looking at something along those lines. So we'll see. We got some room to run, but right now, nothing, no trade. Again, if it rolls back in, there's nothing in there either way. We're sitting in no man's land, so nothing to worry about. Euro dollar. All right, so euro dollar. Unfortunately, this one got chopped through. It came back up, and it kind of went to an old kind of Harry Potter-ish type trade. Really, unfortunately, we got no entry on it. It came all the way down, shot straight back up, and again, this is at 10 o'clock yesterday. Um, you can see it did go a little bit lower. We were looking for a reversal at 108.52. It then ended up punching lower this morning and then kind of gave us the red, green, red. And it's kind of like, oh my God, they knew. And then they shot it back higher. I think right now the target for any sells, or I'm sorry, for any longs right now is going to be sitting right up in here. I think that's also a decent reversal. Let's take this off. The 78 was broken through. Go high to low. Yeah, it's not really in a major area, but it's been such an extended kind of push at this point. We'll suck this back to here. I'm going to pull this one now. We'll readjust for the red, green, red down here. Let's turn that yellow. Boom, boom, right there. We'll take that off. There we go. Why is that coloring way off? Okay. Yeah, I mean, right now, let's say we're way extended at this point. 8:30 news. We're at 63. We're almost at a daily ATR. Yeah, this will probably reverse back today. This could be like an 11 or 12 o'clock time frame one. I think when we hit this, look for the turn and reversal back down. Um, we have the US. We have the. It's only revised. It's not even a big one. Yeah, I'd say there's a reversal in there. I wish it was at a 61, right, instead of being right here. But again, it is a decent, nice little impulse correction, impulse confirmation, boom, smash down. It's a rather small area. 11 pips. My only problem with this one is it's Friday afternoon that we're gonna hit this one, right? Again, can it do it? Sure. It's not a very big mover. It only needs to go to there, and all it is going to be is profit taking. So, um, yeah, not much else to say about that one. Pretty easy level. Yeah. All right. That actually could be a. I'm pretty sure we're gonna hit it. We're only what I say 30, 20. Yeah, I don't think that will hold. I said that would be an interesting weekend one too, but yeah, yeah, it's fine. Euro pound. All right, so euro pound. We got the hiccup a little bit, right? We were looking for it to push back down again. It actually was there, and it only did this. It didn't come all the way back up again. It almost formed a kind of like a new level, right? When you see all the basing in here, right? Hit it, hit it, hit it, hit it, and then boom, and dropped. So that's kind of more where it was. We were looking for it to push down to 85.78. You can see that we hit down here to 85.75, or I'm sorry, 70.76. So it did go past. And again, there's your profit target on that one. We were talking about this one pushing all the way back down again. Um, right now, we'll mark the top off just to give us an idea. Um, Problem with this is, again, Friday. We're hitting an area right now. I wouldn't be surprised if some sellers do kind of continue to push this down. There's about an hour, or I'm sorry, 2 hours to go in the European session. The European market is kind of drying up. The London market still has 2 hours fully to go. It's considered the same session, but right now a lot of the European banks, like the German banks, they're already finishing up, so they're starting to lose a lot of power in that European play. But we do have that's CAD. So yeah, I'd say it probably rolls back down again. But target hit from yesterday. Um, Really nice little pullback here. Very nice little pullback. In that base. Yeah, it's pretty decent. Start attacking that. 24. I don't think we'll have time for it today. Again, I don't know what the base looks like, so this is just theoretical. Right? So I'm looking for the base and then push to the downside. But yeah, target hit from yesterday. So we're out. Euro yen. All right, so euro yen, we're looking for a bounce. It ended up punching through a little bit, came up, punched up, and now you can see it literally is going to profit. We were actually looking for this one. Um, we talked about being here for news. Like you guys see the blue bar. We're looking for the news. Here's how, and again, hard, right? So this is what there's the move we were looking for. Unfortunately, it was here for the news. Okay, so we had the correct play. We just had it was already unfortunately it dropped right beforehand at 4:30 before the news came out, and that's where it decided to punch forward. So, could you have gotten long from here? Yeah, you could have done it. You could have drug this down to here and said, "Hey, listen, you know what? I'm going to use this area, right there. You could use that area, right? We were calling for long. It had punched just below our zone, and then what happened? It didn't make any difference. It went right through the top side of it, right? It went right through the top. Three is only right there. I guess it's a little bit off. So hold on. Okay. So again, we're calling for this one. It did it. It just started a little bit lower, but it ended up still hitting the profit target. But you can see if I drag it down to where it was when the news came out, it just sliced through the top side. So yeah, so this trade is officially out. So pull this off. We knew where the so funny. Look at that. Straight down, straight down, straight down. News. Right back up. Gotta love that. Yeah, it ended up going a little bit lower. There was actually a zone there too. It's actually not a horrible news trade. That's what it ran into. It drove right there for news. And then all of a sudden, whoop, all the way out. Let's see. What do we got now? So we have an alert on this one. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is technically hit 6 number 2. When the thing breaks and comes through 158, we're looking for this one to stabilize and go higher. Yeah. Is it a today thing? I don't know if we'll have enough steam today, but I think overall it's an interesting move. We'll probably, like as I mentioned, we'll probably have some profit taking. Right, we'll have some profit taking come in. We should see a little bit of a pullback in this one. I think this is more of a Sunday trade, but again, still on our radar, looking to come up. And if we start basing here, even better. Let's break it, pull back, and then off to the races higher, up until probably the 150, 160 range at a minimum. All right. So yeah, it's going back to where we wanted it. So easy trade. Obviously, the reason why we traded it was because of this data right here, right? And that's why we saw the nice little burst. Pound dollar. All right, so pound dollar. So pound dollar, we talked about this 50% level. Now, this one is kind of weird. It came up, retreated. Came up, retreated, and formed a base. And you're like, oh, crap, there's a base right there. If we go short, we have buyers right here. And it hit it again and then pulled back. And it's like, yeah, okay. So there's one, there's two, there's three. And then pulled down. You're like, oh, crap. And it broke. Now, it did go a little bit higher. And this is one of those ones that it's like, it's a shame it had to deal with that kind of level of news there because that was a decent level. I was really hoping that I had this one set up and I took it off. European Open, I was kind of like, oh, if we can get there for the European Open, yeah. And unfortunately, it didn't. It did retrace down. It did what I wanted it to do. It didn't get quite high enough. Now to the top side. Again, I do think this one stops and turns and rolls. Could it potentially go here? Yeah, but this is a pretty ugly subset of candles here. There's a larger level there, and you can see we kind of hit it once, and we're faltering. And really, since the news came out, I mean, I guess really since 5 o'clock, we're up about 92 pips right now. We're at a daily ATR just from the 5 o'clock window. So in 4 hours, 5 hours, we've gone an entire day's worth of movement. You would expect to see profit taking for anybody that got long. You can see the Europeans stepped into it here. So it's really been nothing but a European push. It's like they saw our data ahead of time. But we are looking for kind of a reversal now. So if you wanted to get into a red, green, red, you could potentially get short on this one. I do think it turns and rolls back to the downside. And again, the reason why is it's 10 o'clock, 10:30 reversal. European market straight up. News weak for dollar. Everybody that's seeing it now is getting weak to dollar. And again, this is when you tend to see these turn and roll back down. So it's there. Do I love it? It's okay. I don't like this blend of candles. I wish it was a little bit lower. If it was 61 or 50, I'd be much more into it. But where it is right now, not looking great. Right, not looking great. Pound yen. All right, so pound yen. You can see right here. News came up and we grabbed that level. We talked about the 83.06. It was wedged in between those two. Yeah, it kind of scared us. It got here yesterday at 12:30 and then there and it pulled all the way down, went back to the buyers in, drove straight into that level at 3 o'clock, and then European Open right out the downside. So this was an easy 40 pips on this one. And what did it do? It ended up breaking. Boom, 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 pulled back and broke, and we're back to the high side. This one should actually be here, right? And kind of same thing as the euro yen. Could this one reverse a little bit? Yeah, it could. Is it a great entry? It needs some yen. Like I said, there'll be some profit taking in this one. You're seeing that it's starting to have some hiccups right now and there. It's confirmed. I mean, it's a level of basing with a confirmation, so technically it is something. But we just had a major rally in this one. It is 16 pips. It did just miss, so it's starting to kind of get a little. It's starting to move already a little bit. Overall, again, you can see that trade is out for 40. Take that out. Take that out. The 78 was hit, so let's remove that. It's so funny. We talked about this yesterday. I was like, "Oh, watch this," and that's where it jammed into. But I don't know how much more steam it has. There, there, and there. 78. Yeah, I think we'll have some buying coming in right there. Yeah, I'd say it's. I mean, again, this is the profit taking we're looking for. Do we want to take the shot on this level? I mean, it's not the first time it's been up there. It is confirmed. So there is confirmed sellers up there. It is 10:30, and this is where we should see European markets trying to start getting out of their positions. It's okay. I wish it was just a tad higher though. It's running in the same sellers that we saw here. I was hoping it would go just a bit higher. Uh, it's hard after you've just made 40 on this one. It's like, do you want to step in again? It's there. How much confidence do I have in the yen? Ugh. Just don't want to mess with the yen on this one. I don't feel that the yen's going to have enough power on this one to really turn it. I mean, the pound data today, pound is strong across the board. So it's like, oh, yeah. So it's high. Yes, bearish thinking. Do I want to pull the trigger on this one on a Friday at 10 o'clock after we've just already banked 40 on this one? Not so much. I do feel it's going to turn and roll, though. I do feel it will come back down and probably get back down to somewhere over here. Right. I feel like by Monday we will be pushing down again. But I am curious. I do want to know. All right. I'm going to throw this on here because I do want to get an alert on this one. What am I looking for? Horizontal line. Sorry. Had a brain fart there. I do want to know when it breaks to the top side of this one. And you may say, well, why? Just like the euro yen, we know that we were up at a level where it was pretty high, being up at 158. If we can go up and really eat the rest of these sellers out of there, you can see we're really getting close up to this 184 time frame. So we not time frame, price level. So we come up and start basing in here and punch through this one. I'd like to know and kind of see what this area looks like. Will these guys become buyers after being sellers? That could be the next surge that we need forward. So I do like kind of where it is. We're not quite there yet. And again, it's all going to depend on this reversal. But again, I would say profit taking is probably coming in across the board. Valcad, no surprise. We were really looking for a base up top. It ended up basing here. Oh, and it stayed in too. We talked about this level yesterday. We mentioned it. We're like, it's okay. 839. It's 3. So yes, there's sellers in there, and it's a strong push away. We're kind of hoping that we get enough legs to go up and give us a base at 33. But look at that. Went up and up and up and up. The 830 candle spiked it and then just tanked it to the downside. And did we expect this to hold? Nah. 1, 2, 3. Basing in here again. Yeah, it was going to get smoked. And it did. Yep, it absolutely got smoked on number 5 coming through. And again, we count this as 1. But all the basing in here, you're like, yep, it's eating every little bit of buyer out of there. For right now, again, yeah, I do think this one reverses a little bit, but I think we have the ability to get down to 132 before I'm interested much. There's no level over here that I'm interested in getting long with. Not it's just choppy, chop, 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 chop. It was a grindy chop. Not interested in that kind of stuff. So, this one will be an interesting one for next week. I love it. I love it. 1 hour ago, Canadian dollar weakens, benchmark yields dips. Really? Is the Canadian right? Right? Canadian dollar? No, this is the Canadian dollar strengthening, right? This is the dollar first, Canadian dollar second. So dollar strong US dollar, Canadian weak would be up. It's the opposite direction. So no, the Canadian dollar is not weakening, right? If you say the dollar CAD, then yes, that would be this one. But the Canadian dollar, no, because if I reverse this, it's going up right now. So thanks for the great news article, bud. Thank you. Love it. Yeah, so 132. Again, no trade set up. We have a Harry Potter down below if we can get the 131. I don't think it gets that far for a while, so we got some room to run on this one. Again, drove up, 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 actually in yesterday's level for a little news trade, but unfortunately it's out now. Not much you can do with it. Dollar Swiss, exactly the same. Now look at the dollar Swiss. So remember the dollar Swiss? We talked about this. We're like, oh God, we got so close. Got so close. We're like, oh, we like the level 101, 13 better. It's like, oh, but these guys here, and then got front run, right? And then pulled down. It's where we were sitting yesterday. And we're like, look for the level in here. Look for the confirmation, right? Pull the trigger. Well, guess what? If we bring this across, if we did go with the original assessment, again, this one did kind of get, up here. We didn't get a red, green, red until right here, right? But look at that. There's the original level that we're waiting for. And again, sometimes when you go too strong, there's 1 to 3. So you're officially out. So again, all the debate, we're like, I like the 101.13 better, but there's these guys right here, and they're going to screw with us right here. And if you want to be aggressive, take it. There you go. If you got aggressive, you got burned on this one by just a few pips. And then what happened? It drove it up, it drove it up, it drove it up. And in reality, I'm going to remove this just to the side. You guys can see it did obviously hit the 101.13 that we've been talking about all week. It hit it and we're well past. But you guys can see right here, right? What do? We put a cap in, right? We put this here. There's your level of basing. It drove down. There's your failure to go lower or failure to go higher, right? We opened here and it's kind of like, Even if you said, okay, well, I'm going to take the full base, right? I'm going to take the full base right here, right? I know there's a level in here somewhere, but I'm going to take the full base. And if you do this right here, you're still out, right? To take advantage of that one. So many opportunities from this one. And this is how this one works, right? You're looking for the sweet one, but there's your confirmation. Red, green, red down, right? You could have taken the red, green and went shot below, taken this one out as a reversal. We knew it was going to be a big level, and it was. It doesn't matter which one we look at, right? Let me shrink this. It's pain in my butt, right there. So there, if you'd done it up here, you were good. The only one you did is if you had the small one here. But once we had this confirmation, it's like, oh, there it is. Find the base, turn it, right? Nice push back to the downside. And again, that was a 12 for 37. All right. Now to the downside. All right. We talk about 89.52. Yes, there's an area here. There's some basing here. This is the target we're looking for. It's 1 pip away. Actually, it went to. Oh, not yet. 89.51. Yeah, so it actually just went below. Yeah, it just actually hit our profit target. 89.52. You can see the low in the day is 89.51.6. So it just tagged the profit target we talked about on the short from yesterday. At this point, I would expect some buying to come in. Again, some profit taking, maybe some basing. We start to see it tear back up again. Not truly a racetrack because it's multiple, but again, no pullback, barely any pullback, a little bit of a pullback, and then no pullback on this one. So it is kind of set up for a reversal on this one. Let me pull this one off, add it to this side. Yeah, so you can see here's the area here. There's a bunch of buying coming in. So we're hitting that level now. Again, any of these levels could be it. I think this one is like a Sunday. Like once we start to reverse, I think we tear this one all the way back up again, right? The Swiss data is not great, and the US data, obviously, they're going to continue to keep raising. The weakness on this one, I think, is just an emotional kind of gut check. I think this one turns and moves. So again, looking for a buy in here. If we get the confirmation, same thing. Instead of red, green, red, look for green, red, green. Okay, in the opposite direction. All right, yen. All right, so that's what we were looking for. We're like, oh, where's the hiccup? Where's the hiccup? It did it, but unfortunately, it gave us to us here, right? We were looking for a hiccup here, like I'll pull down and then don't go as high, right? It kind of tiered down and then it went as high, so we kind of had to reset it to here, and then this technically went here, This technically went there, and then there was your news. So, we're still kind of getting up there. We knew 145 was going to be an issue, and that's kind of what we're going through with 145. You could have used this level up top. I got to use this one. 2 and 3 is right there. Okay, there's your 3. And again, all you're using the top. Failure to go higher, it came down, came down, and came down. It's like, okay, well, there's the top. Does it fail? Bam. There we go, and push. So, yep. And again, it did tag the 1 to 3 before bouncing higher. So, and that's where it should. There's buyers in here. So, not much we can do with this one as well. Again, the 830 mark was here. It's kind of like, here's the Canadian, or I'm sorry, the European start. Kind of like they knew, right? Kind of like they knew. Look, it drove up right before the start, and then said, okay, US data time, straight down. So yeah, it's like they know. Um, Overall, again, dollar yen, we're high at 145. I think this one goes higher as well. Excuse me. Looks very similar to Aussie yen, Euro yen, although it is pulled back because of the dollar. I think once this one starts surging higher. Um, Overall, I like the fact that this one is weakening because again, remember the yen is really focused on the dollar yen pair. It's not. They're not as focused on the euro yen or the pound yen. This is the bigger one that they look at. So overall, this is not the worst thing. All right. Um, Yeah, not much to say about this one. Rare profit. There's buying in here, but again, 1, 2, 3, 4. It should fall lower. It could potentially be a reversal, but not a level I'm interested in playing with. Way too many hits on the single level. TLT up, obviously. Dollar weak. Obviously, that one's going higher. This one off. I don't know why we got that there anymore. Let's check out crude. Again, weak dollar. So there was a trade from yesterday. Right at 10 o'clock, we hit that one, drove all the way through because of the data, right? And then it looks like they ended up hitting it again and drove all the way down even lower. But again, another hit on that one, and then another hit and it drove lower. So, trade is obviously out, reverse where we should have. We can put a base on this one now for a short trade for next week. Um, Yeah, so we've been in this level a few times. We mentioned it yesterday being the 61 people we're looking at it. We hit it, we hit it, we hit it again. We're still kind of in that level. It's unfortunately got too many hits. I don't know how much more it'll hold. There is a small level above it. Again, crude obviously closes early on Fridays. Um, I'd like to see this turn. I'd like to see if we can get it closed below 70. I don't know if we will. Um, but I do think the Chinese data on Sunday night is really going to throw a ringer in crude oil. Reason why if Chinese data shows a contraction, they're showing that the Chinese economy is not good. That um, should help tank oil back down below, right? Which would actually be great. And again, it actually helps kind of the U.S. numbers when we talk about core and not core. Um, it actually is not the worst of trades, right? If this one goes lower, so I'm good with it. All right, so where we are, bearish thinking. Again, this one closes early. Be cautious with this today, but I do think Chinese data on Friday or on Sunday night is really going to help in kind of taking this, roll this one back down. Natural gas. All right. So yesterday at 10:30, we talked about this one. It spiked up, became lower, and then eventually got out. Had we used that? I don't know why it's not showing over there. It's I guess because it went down. Maybe it's in the one candle. I don't know. I hate when it does it sometimes. But anyway, that's the position we are looking for. We hit it. It is officially out. All it did was came down and grabbed the same level down here at 63. Came back up, and now we're kind of sitting in the same thing. We're just kind of turning off of it. Um, it did miss by just a little tiny bit. So again, depending on your broker, you may or may not have gotten in. All this is doing is taking advantage of these guys right here. Okay. Would I expect this to turn and roll? Yeah, it's in the right spot. Little profit taking coming in. Again, it's natural gas. It does close early on Friday, so kind of got to be cautious of that one. Okay. Oops. Yeah. So, gold. All right, gold spiking. Obviously, weak dollar. You would expect to see gold to do this, right? Um, yeah, hold on one second. I love it. So we have Easy Pass in Maryland, right? I'm like, oh, fill this thing out. It's like, yes, I have filled the thing out multiple times. And you're like, oh, here, you don't have to pay. We won't even send anything. We'll just do it here. Fill this out. And I do. I keep filling it out. And it's like, why are you charging me? Why don't you just, you know, like I have the Easy Pass. Like, I'm going to call and be like, hey, listen, I filled your stuff out online. Just charge me for it. You tell me to fill it out. I do it. And then you don't do it. Anyway, with where we are right now, again, boom, 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 boom. Gold up here at 1915. We were talking about a level. It did go a little bit higher, and again, this is relying upon the dollar right now. Um, I again probably turns and flips. Unfortunately, when you started forming a basing level right below it, it's like, oh god, it's trying to find buyers to punch through. And all it did was it used these guys right here. You can see it started the base in there. It's like, yep, using those guys, the old seller, 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 basing. It's going to become buyers now, and it did. Peaked, went, and punched. So right now, we'll take this one off. I'd say overall, again, we're still at the 50 mark. There's not a lot in here. Basing wise, the next base up top is really right here, and we have officially breached this. So actually, maybe this one rolls into kind of a Harry Potter trade, but it does have the room to run up to 78. Again, it will close earlier today than the end of the day, so it's all right. I don't love it. It's okay. I don't know what any of this means. My account is active, but it declined something, so I don't even know. Um, I don't understand. I agree. Yes. Yeah, all those things are good. I love when they upgrade the system and then it screws it all for me. All right, so again, 786 level, probably an error return and roll. If we can get a little bit more basing, obviously buyers below should punch it higher. Silver, kind of doing the same thing. And if you look at where the bottom of silver was, it was at 430 this morning, kind of like the European market knew, drove forward, pushed down. Obviously it punched and it's going higher. I think on this one, again, watch for the 50 level. You have some profit taking coming in right around here. Um, this wasn't here yesterday. This got formed this morning. So again, profit taking probably. Silver is weaker than gold right now. It's a 1.6, where gold is at 4.5. So they're both kind of at levels where we'd like to see a reversal coming in. A lot of it depends on the dollar, right? We can see the Dixie right here finding that 61, but it hasn't stopped yet. We have not seen the profit taking. Sure. Got everything popping up on me. So yeah, the dollar's gonna have to find buyers here. Once dollar does, again, we should see silver collapse faster than gold. So it is getting close to a level. We'll see if it comes in. Like I said, everybody's like, sell the dollar, sell the dollar, sell the dollar. Unless Powell said, you know what, because it was so bad, we're good. Yeah, I mean, look, consumer sentiment was actually better than expected, right? Right, it was revised. Again, I don't know why the revised is suddenly get crazy, but it actually went up. Consumer sentiment was good, right? That means, hey, listen, people are feeling positive. That means people are going to start spending some money again. That should be more positive. That's more reason why the Fed is able to raise because people are more confident with it, right? And what are we seeing? Kind of a news in the other direction, right? All right. So, look for reversal. Again, not enough time for me to play with silver. Um, what? Oh, it broke. Okay, lovely. So look for that to turn and roll. Let's see what we got here with Apple. Oh, I know what happened. That's a pain in the butt. Yeah, gotta love it. Nope, get rid of that one. Okay, I figured out what was wrong with it. Sorry, this other window popped up. I'm like, why do I have like 6 of these things? Yeah, so gotta love fraud on a card. Fraud on a card is so annoying. It drives me nuts. But Apple, nice little surge in Apple, doing well. Tesla also doing well, but Tesla has some sellers up here at 266, so that's what we got for the overall market. VIX obviously deteriorating as it should. Dollar still looking to find those buyers. I'm actually surprised that's a little bit more extended than what we would have thought. I wonder if they're going to start turning and flipping. Let's check it. Yes. Overall, you would expect them all to be in the green pretty deeply, and they are. Let's see, opening print wise, 745, 915. Yeah, unfortunately, they were so high above. Again, the data was just too good. You know, them being able to say this is the R for the year, this is the lowest it's been in 2 years. That's, I mean, unfortunately, based off the data, it's doing exactly what it should have done. There's no pullback on this one, so no opening print on ES. NQ. NQ kind of doing the same thing. Um, it did give a pullback. This is one of those ones you guys may have been able to get into it, right? 845 base, right? We surged, we came back, we surged, we based. At 915 was red. We were looking for a green, so there was an entry in there. So this one you could have got into. Obviously, no overnight confirmation because it was obviously news driven at this point, but you can see there's 1 to 3.26. Um, nice move, right? Nice move on that one. There we go. So again, could have got into this one. Opening print, we need that confirmation. It didn't have it, but again, it did pull back to a basic level. So again, trend continuation mode, something we're used to seeing. Um, yeah, I think that's good. I'm good with that one. Um, Again, would I want to play a top on this one? No, not really. I think let this thing roll. I think next week when we start talking about what the next interest rates look like, that would be where we look for this one. But overall, consumer sentiment was good. That means people are spending. They're reading into that into the core numbers. Again, the core number is not great, but the other numbers that we got headlines were good. So overall, this is good. Don't try to find a top on this one. If we do put a base in, we will see a pullback, but I definitely think it's a feel good Friday tape with the data we got. Very similar on this one, 945, 930. So there's a base there, but again, it's much cleaner in NQ. You can see there's a base there. I bet you we can see it easier on a 5 minute. Yeah, you could have, right? Looking at a base right there. And you can see it pulled back. So could you have taken this one? Sure. We had to go down to a 5 minute to find it. I think it was much cleaner inside of NQ. Um, this one actually this is the weak, not quite the weakest. Good. All right. Yeah. So probably a top in this one. I don't know that I'd want to play with it as much. There may be a reversal in there. That's the problem. All this. So there's a gigantic level sitting right there. Oh, it's an old push though. This probably fails. Let's say watch for this level here. Right. If we can get a pullback, that could be an end of the day rally off that 23.6. Um, and it's really taking it from the low here. It's not taking it. Like some people will be looking at it here and going, oh, still close enough proximity, right? There, they can take it from here. Here's the most recent high to low, right? This was Monday. So if you did Monday to Friday right now, it's at 23.6. So kind of cutting right through. So wouldn't be surprised if we see an end of the day rally off that level. 34,776. Russell. So funny. Says I have an easy pass, right? Say I have one. Got a $10 balance on there. Yet I still got charged, even though it knows my vehicles. um, 9:30. This kind of had the confirmation, but a little very kind of deeply. And then the 9:30 was actually sitting up here. 9:15. Yeah, it was here. So Russell actually not as good. Russell was here at 9:30, right? So not really the pullback we want. It did smash it and come back higher, but more stabilized sideways. We actually knew we had a 78 there, which is fine because now we can pull this 78 off. I don't need that. We know we had a guy right there. So that's the problem is we didn't really. Man, Russell kind of ugly this morning. Still sitting right there. Again, could that bounce? Sure, it could. Eh. So Russell's looking at the core number and be like, oh, crap. So, yeah, I mean, I think overall the best trade setup in this one was NQ. That was the easiest and like most visual, right? Um, mm, Unfortunately, this one really didn't have room to run on the top side. It does make sense that it's a sell, even though the 915 was there. It was smashing into another zone. So not super clean. It did get us, I mean, you could have traded, again, looking at the basing on the top, right? There's a little fair to go lower, or fair to go higher thing. Do I love that one? Not really. I mean, it did push lower here, but it's okay. I feel like we're just forcing this one. So, nah. I think the best one was this. That was the best one. Up, base, and then what did it do? Just continuation. That was the best one for the morning. That was the only one that you could have, you know, really gotten much out of. I don't know how I pay. Okay. Um, there we go. All right. So, with that said, that's it for today. Like I said, it's Friday. Kind of going into a quasi holiday weekend. Obviously, the U.S. markets open early. Even Melissa is off at like 1 o'clock or whatever on Monday. Even though she's working for a Swiss company, they're letting her off early because of the markets. So that's where we're at. Let's go ahead and do the drawing today. So obviously, less people in today. I think there's transaction billing vehicles transponders. All right, I'm gonna wait till 2:30. That's when we typically shut it down. Oh, there we go. Thing. Let's do this again. I dislike Easy Pass sometimes. I dislike it. It's like, hey, I'm just looking to just wanna pay my stuff, right? Right there we go. We're past. All right. Winner of today's drawing is Neuro. Neuro takes it. I think this was Neuro's. Let me see. Is this 3 Neuro? So this is you today. I know you had yesterday. Nope. So this is your 100. Yep, this is your 100. So you got today cheap. Got today cheap. There's your 100. Whoops, not 1,000. Oh God, could you imagine? Right. All right. That means Monday, Neuro. Monday's the day. Guys, we'll see what the market movement looks like. I'm still torn on whether we do Monday or not. Obviously, no Tuesday. And then obviously Wednesday, we're back on full speed. So I'll let you guys know how it works. How I'm feeling. How I'm feeling. I don't know. No. Ernest was giving you a fake. Ernest did he didn't do an exclamation point. It looks like. Right? I think he just did one. One ticket 10, not exclamation point 10. Right? I think that's what it's showing. I think. It doesn't show that he. It didn't say that he successfully bought. No, I don't know. Let's see. Can I copy and paste it? Oh, see, I don't see the exclamation point on mine. I don't know. Oh, I see it. Yeah, I guess actually, if I copy and paste it, I don't know. I don't know why I didn't do it. I don't know. Cannot explain it. I don't know. That's weird. Hmm. I have no idea. I think the ultimate hacks are in. I don't know. I don't know. That occult ritual I did overnight was stronger than Earth. I guess so. So there we go. There's the truth. I was like, yeah, that's weird, right? I don't know why. That's strange because I see it too, but it didn't accept it. I don't know. Oh no. Maybe we'll have to give Ernest like an automatic chance for double. So like maybe we put Ernest in so maybe Monday Neuro unit 250 and we put Ernest in at 100. Like we give him like we didn't give him the chips today, but we'll give because he didn't lose any, right? But we'll give him the option since he didn't get a fair shake today. So maybe we'll do that. Maybe Ernest will go in for 100, you're going for 250, and everybody else will go in for their standard. Yeah, maybe we'll do that. All right. With that, I'm out here. You guys have a great weekend. Enjoy yourself. Be safe. And I'll catch you guys next week. Have a good one.